Welcome to our live video chat here on Facebook on the Posh Pooch Designs Facebook page. And just a reminder, we do the live video on Facebook every Tuesday, if possible, 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And you can find us there. And then after I tweak the video a little bit and make sure it's going to work, every now and then it kind of jumps around. I don't know if it's something going on with Facebook or what. But anyway, once I tweaked it up just a little bit, then I post it over on YouTube for those who prefer YouTube. And I know sometimes I get comments that say, why are you on Facebook? And then sometimes I get comments that say, why do you do the live video on YouTube? Why don't you do it on YouTube? And so let me explain just a little bit. We began doing this on Facebook, and I love my Facebook friends. And I'm so excited to see all of you clinking in this morning. Michelle and Stacy and Samantha and Vicky and Gina and Nancy, Karen, Jennifer. See if I missed anybody up there. Joy, Crystal, and I'm so glad, Karen, I'm so glad, Nancy, that you're all here. And I love my Facebook fans or friends or whatever you want to call it. And to me, you are my friends because you love crochet, you love knitting, or maybe not knitting as much, but you love yarn and the same silly yarny things that we enjoy together. And so I feel like even though I haven't met you in person, you are my friends. And so I don't want to stop doing the Facebook Live. I love it, and I love being able to meet up with you guys every week. And then I've also made a lot of really great friends on YouTube. And so I don't want to stop doing it on YouTube. And I don't have the energy to do 2 live videos. And so I am looking into some software and some different things in order to simultaneously do both. And so it might be a little bit expensive. And so I'll probably wait till after the holidays before I go and do a lot more research into that. But I love the format of Facebook doing the live video. Okay, let me make sure I got everybody in here. I see Tina and Kimberly and Alicia and Anne Marie and Kimberly Coons. Let's see, Stacy, Michelle, Susan. All right, you know what it's time for, right? Everybody clink in. Clink. I could not find my regular pumpkin coffee cup this morning, and I have one that I've had since childhood. It's one of those silly little, looks like a shape like a pumpkin. And then I remembered that I had made this cover a couple years ago, and it is a video out there. It's a free pattern if you want it. It's just the pumpkin coffee cozy and coaster. It's got the bottom on it. See, I do this without spilling my coffee. There you go. See, it's got the bottom on it and the front, and you can turn any coffee cup into a pumpkin. Alrighty, now I've got another jam-packed video for you guys today, and I've got lots of fun and new patterns and things like that. But let's take care of business first. Are you excited to hear who won the mystery box? Well, I've got it all packed, and I shoved a bunch of yarn in there. You can see it's all puffy. It's all sealed up and ready to go to whoever our winner is today. And I've got the name, and I kind of had a lot of fun with that generator thing, because you have to copy and paste all the names, and then you stick them in this random generator, and then you just tell it go, and it just comes up with a name. And what I did is I took all the names off of last week's live video who commented, and all the names off YouTube video who commented when I got it over there, and I just shoved it through there. And I have to tell you, I want to say there were over 400 names, and I think that's amazing. I mean, it really, really is. And I know a lot more than that people watched the video, and a lot of people commented several times, which is totally fine. Totally fine. Every comment that you made went in as another name. So even though there were about 400 names, there were probably about 1,000 comments. So I think that's amazing and fun and awesome. All right, are you ready for the name? I'm going to pop on my glasses and make sure I pronounce it right. All righty? All right. Drum roll. The name of the winner is Vicky Shenfield. And I'm going to spell her name just in case. Vicky, V-I-C-K-Y, Shenfield. S-C-H-E-N-F-E-L-D. Vicky Shenfield. All right, now everybody congratulate Vicky, and don't worry, we're going to have more giveaways. I do have one more calendar to give away, and then I'm thinking about doing a Christmas giveaway as well. And so everybody congratulate Vicky. And Vicky, if you're watching or if you watch this later, I need you to contact me with your mailing address. And there are a couple ways you can do that. You can message me on Facebook at the Posh Pooch Designs page. Just hit that message button, tell me who you are, and send me your shipping address. Or you can go to the Posh Pooch Designs page, webpage, www.poshpoochdesigns.com, and hit that little contact button, and it'll shoot you straight to my email. Do not put your shipping address on this video anywhere. I don't want you giving, and that happened accidentally a couple of giveaways ago, and I deleted it very quickly. Don't do that. Don't put your shipping address on YouTube video or this video, okay? Alrighty, so that's the big business. I'm going to set that on the box down there. Alrighty, so lately I've been getting questions about putting appliques on crochet items, and it's something I hadn't really thought much about. I see a bunch more of you clicked in. I'm so glad to see you all. Oh, I just saw this. She said, her name's Chasey. She said, I just found you and I have made your dog bandanas. Fun, fun, fun. I love the dog bandanas. But anyway, which we do appliques on the dog bandanas too. But anyway, I've had a lot of questions about how do you sew a applique onto a crochet item, because most crochet items are stretchy, right? And so it's going to be a little bit different on how you sew it on there. So I'm going to click down over to the cam, or the top cam, and I'm going to show you what I have here. And this is just a little skull applique. I wanted to go with something simple, and you can see I've already sewn it onto a headband. And so the question is, if I'm going to sew an applique on a headband, how do I keep that stretch in the headband or the hat? Because, you know, if you're going to put it on a purse or maybe a scarf, you're not going to worry too much about the stretch, right? But if you're going to put it on a hat or something that's going to get some stretch, you don't want that to pull and get misshapen. So let me show you what I do. I've got another headband here. This one's a little warmer, and I'm planning on wearing this one today. I just made it striped orange and green, and it's just double crochets if you want to know how I made it. Just basic double rows of double crochet, and then I trimmed the edges. All right, so I'm going to put the skull right in the center. And if you want this pattern for the skull, it'll be on the blog for this video, as well as I have a dog bandana, or not a dog bandana, a dog collar that I made probably 10 years ago that I used this same skull on. And there is a video for it if you're looking for that. Just go to the playlist on YouTube or to my blog and look in dog patterns and look for, I think it's just skull dog collar. All right, so I've already got my bandana made, or my applique made. And when I make an applique that I know I'm going to sew onto something, I'll leave a long tail of yarn where I tied it off. Just looped it back, and it's on the back side. And that way I don't have to add another piece of yarn in order to sew it on, unless I want to use a different color, of course. Okay, and then I just think about where I want to put it. And this bandana is stretchy, right? And I want to still be able to slide it on my head without that skull pulling. And so what I do, I don't pin it on. Now you can if you're uncomfortable and you want to use a straight pin or something and hold it in place. I don't do that unless I'm going to do a bunch of them. All right, so what I do is I put it on. I'm going to go through to the back. Make sure it's how I want it. And I want to do it at kind of an angle. And if you'll notice, there are braids all the way around. Those are our chains. They look like braids. And that's where I'm going to be putting my stitches. All right. And one thing to remember, when you're sewing on your applique, just like a button, you're going to want to make sure that you go through stitches as much as possible. If you go through these holes, you're just going to get gaping holes. And we don't want that. That's going to look a little bit messy. Now, there might be a time when you're stitching it on where you'll have to go through a hole, but for the most part, we want to try to go through the stitches. All right, so what you'll do is when you're stitching, you're still going to go up and down and go through. And I go down, I skip the next chain, and I come up to the next one. And then I kind of give it just a little bit of a pull. We want it to be there, but we don't want it to be too snug. I call it kind of floating it, because you're stitching it on. I'm going back one. You're stitching it on, but you don't want it to be too tight. In other words, you want it to stay put, but you don't want it to pull on the headband, okay? So I went up, I skipped, I went down here, I skipped this one, I came up the next one, and now I'm going back. And this is the way that I do it. Making sure you want it to look nice. You know, you don't want gaping stitches, but you also want to make sure, see how my stitches are kind of loose, but not too tight, but not gaping either. And you want to make sure it's going to stay put, but it's not going to lose its stretch, I guess is the way of putting it. I go down and back up around. Now, not all of your appliques are going to have the edge on it. And most of the ones I do mostly do. But sometimes, like if you're going to put a spider on and you've got legs, you'll have to put some stitches down those legs, unless you want them to stick up, which would be really cute as well. But this is just the basic way that I put an applique onto something that's going to need to keep its stretch. I go forward, I go back to the next stitch and back in. And then now it's ready to be weaved in the back, but I want to just kind of pull on it a little. You can see it's going to stay put, but it's not affected by the stretch of the headband or ear warmer. Okay, now we're to the back and we're just going to weave that in. Now, I probably should have had just a little bit longer piece of yarn here, but what I do is I'll just go through stitches, go one way, I'll go up a stitch and turn around and go right back the way that I came. Make sure you can see that. I usually try to do that 2 or 3 times. It's just how much yarn I have left. But that way, I've got a nice, cute applique on my headband or hat. It's going to stay put. It's not going anywhere. But like I said, it doesn't get too affected by the stretch of the headband. All right, I hope that helped answer that question. I hadn't really thought much about it, and I got a lot of questions lately, but a lot of people are making hats and headbands and ear warmers right now. And like this one, I've got buttons and skull. And it's just a simple little skull, you know, and I wanted to stay with something small and a nice shape. So, I mean, that's basically what I do. And a lot of people have lots of different little tricks and techniques that they use. But to be honest with you, those of you who have been, you know, my friends and followers for quite a while, you understand me, because you know I like to work smarter, not harder. I want to go with the simplest way to get the best results. So, and that's the way I almost always do it, is that simple technique of going forward and then bringing back around. I guess you call that a back stitch in embroidery. And following, pulling a little, don't pull too tight. And the truth of the matter is, it depends on the stitch of the hat or the bandana or whatever you're making, how tightly you pull those stitches. Because if you're making something on single crochet opposed to double crochet, you have a lot more stitches to work with. All right? And so that's just a simple technique of how to sew an applique onto something that's crocheted. Now, if you have a question about anything crochet related, yarn related, that I can help you with, go ahead and go to my webpage. We're at www.poshpoochdesigns.com. Hit that contact button. It'll take you straight to my email and you can ask your question, or you can put it here or on the YouTube comments, or you can message me on Facebook. I get lots of questions every week. And never think your question is stupid. As a matter of fact, I got a question this week I thought was very interesting. She said, we've been discussing this and we want to know the best chair you can sit in for crochet. Well, I messaged her back and I said, the best chair is what's comfortable for you. And I told her, I said, you know, my favorite place for me, I love my back deck when it's warm. But in the winter when it gets cool, and in the evening and I want to do a little crochet, I pile up the pillows on my bed. I lean up against it. I bring my knees up, stick a pillow under my knees. I have this tray that I set right in front of me, and I watch TV and crochet that way. It's a lot of fun to do that. So everybody has to really see what works best for them. The main thing is you want to have good back support. You don't want to be leaning over and hunching or leaning way far back. You know, you want to have good back support, because no matter where you're sitting, you don't want to be uncomfortable, and back support is important. And the second thing is you need good arm space. I have a wonderful chair in my bedroom that has these huge arms on it, but if I sit in that chair and crochet, I'm going to crochet like this, and that's not going to be comfortable after a while, and that's going to end up hurting your neck. All right. Now, next week, I've been getting a lot of questions about crocheting and arthritis. And I did a video, I want to say 3 years ago. I can't remember. It's a really silly video. I did it out on my back deck. And anyway, about some crochet or knitting exercises for your fingers and your hands and your wrists. And I do them frequently. A lot of times I will stop what I'm working on, because the truth of the matter is my brain is so full of ideas that I'm constantly either writing them down, sketching them, working on, you know, math. Who knew I'd ever use that algebra? or crocheting constantly, and my wrists get really sore, more than my fingers, my wrists. And so I think next week we'll talk a little bit about some simple hand and wrist exercises that you can do, and I'm going to revisit that video and just show them to you. Don't worry, it's not going to be a workout. So anyway, I've just gotten so many questions, because this is the time of year that we're doing a lot of crafts and a lot of things with our fingers and our wrists, you know, the crocheting constantly and the movement. And you know, the weirdest thing for me is that when I'm crocheting a larger item, the wrist that I'm crocheting with doesn't get as sore as the arm that I'm holding the project with. And I think I just tense up to hold that, and then my wrist and my arm gets really sore. And so we're gonna talk about that next week. So keep that on your calendar. And are you ready to see what's new this week at Posh Pooch Designs? All right. Now I had so much fun this week. Last week, I think it was a week and a half ago, I got so sick, and I was really excited because I do a lot of pre-videos, and I try to get them done early, and then I can go back in and upload them and edit them and stuff like that. So I was able to do that. So this week we had a little bit of catching up to do, so I ended up doing an extra video. But what we did is, where did I put that? Here it is. One of the videos we did was this, and this is just a remake. I already had this little girl's poncho done, and so we went back in and graded it and made 3 sizes. And so I added the size for the 2 to 5 year old. No, it's 2 to 4 year old, and then 6 to 8 year old, and then I think 9 to 10 year old, something like that. Anyway, it's in 3 sizes for little girls, and it's a super duper easy pattern. This one I'm giving to my granddaughter because she got her first American Girl doll for her birthday, and so then I made the matching poncho for the American Girl style doll. This is my doll. This is not a real American Girl doll. This is one I just threw together that I've had for years. But anyway, that we did 2 videos. One's for the poncho for the child, and the other is for the doll. So you can make a set, which makes a really great birthday or Christmas present, or any present for any time of year. And I thought it would be fun to change the colors around for Christmas or for fall. And this yarn is from that company that it's called Hobium, and it's really, the yarn is just really similar to some that I have, and I really loved working with it. It's just a worsted weight number 4. I believe it was 80% acrylic and 20 wool, which I really like using that blend, and I'll tell you why. The wool is warm, and the acrylic washes up nicely. So even though there's 20% wool in there and you get a little bit of benefit from the warmth, you can still put it in the washer. And what I do with that is I put it in the washer and then I hang it up to dry. And if it's a small item, I'll just lay it on top of my dryer. So that's just what I do with, because there's more than there's several cakes that are 20% wool in them, and I just like the way they crochet up. The blend is pretty, and And it feels nice because acrylic can be scratchy. Wool, this kind of wool is really soft, and it just works great. Christy says she has a trigger thumb. Now, I have never had that, but I heard that can be very painful and annoying. So, okay. Alrighty. All right, well, what else is new this week? We did the beanie. This originally was my hunting beanie that I made for my husband. This one's a little fuzzy and worn because he wears it when he goes out. And one of the neatest things is where we live here in Colorado, the back of our yard, of our property, is backed up to a deer reserve. It was some property that was given to the city in Parker, and they're not allowed to build on it houses or anything, and it's just a public use area and a deer reserve, and we get a ton of deer. And when I was taking the pictures for this hat, I had some deer walking by, and so I was able to snap some pictures and get some really great photo bombs of deer. So even if you don't want to make this hat, go look at that video. It is the greatest thing. But the original pattern I did was with the camo and orange. And then I got this yarn. It's so pretty. Isn't that pretty? It was just a variegated, and I used it for the video. And then, of course, the orange. And the orange on these, and I don't know that you can still get it, but the orange on these hats are made in a chunky 5. And the orange is the reflective orange. So that works really great, but you do not have to use the reflective orange yarn. You can use any chunky number 5 yarn. Now, on this pattern, I have been asked if you can use 2 strands of worsted weight together. When you're doing a chunky number 6, the 2 strands of worsted weight together work really well. But if you're doing a chunky number 5, it's just a little bit smaller. And so if you use 2 strands of worsted weight number 4, like a Red Heart Super Saver or something, it makes it just a little bit too big. So if you can do that, just make sure that you measure as you go, and do each measure as you go. And you can also go down a hook size and try to tighten it up if you want to make it just a little bit smaller if you're using worsted weight number 2 strands. Just a note on that. When I use a chunky number 5, I like it because it's a little bit thicker than your regular worsted weight, but it's not as bulky as the bulky number 6. All right, so it's a good in-between yarn. I think it makes really good hats and scarves, and it's just my opinion. And you know, like I always say, anything I say on this video, in any videos, it really is just my opinion, because everybody has different opinions. You may prefer sport weight. Somebody else may prefer chunky number 6. So everybody has different ideas and thoughts and different things that they love to crochet. Just remember to be kind, and that everybody, and I say this often, is at a different place in their crochet journey. So something that might come easy for you may not come easy for somebody else. And then there might be that one thing that you struggle with that is easy for somebody else. So just try to remember that, okay? And I'll be honest with you, if there's ever a negative comment to anyone or about anything, I will delete it, because I want my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, my puppy love group on Facebook, I want them all to be happy, cheerful places where we encourage one another with kindness. All right, just a note. Seemed like there was one other, oh yes, what I did yesterday. This one has been sitting on the back burner for a while because I was planning on doing it the week that I got sick, and I wasn't able to do the video. And I'm so excited about this video. Let me pull these out because I got quite a few here. You can hear them rattling around. And these are mine, okay? So what I did is I made a new jar cozy, and I called it the Luminary Jar Cozy. Here's the green one. Here's an orange one. Oops, there we go. Here's the gold, and here's the purple. And what I did with these is I used my plastic jars that I got at Michael's. Now you can use the regular glass ones just fine if you have some. And something I wanted to remind you about these jars. This is the average 16-ounce smallmouth jar for these cozies. And I discovered because I like to run into Goodwill and our thrift stores around here every now and then. I just run in, walk through, see if they have any craft stuff, purse handles, you know, just anything that I can use in my crafts. And I discovered over by the coffee cups that they had a bunch of these jars, 10 cents a piece. So don't overlook running into your Goodwill or Salvation Army, or I think we have Arcs thrift store and a couple other ones. Don't overlook it. If you got a few minutes, run in there and check, see if they have any jars, because they're super cheap. Although I bought these 3 plastic ones for $5. So, you know, it just depends on, you know, what you want to do with them. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of times I reuse mine. And there are other jars that you can use. Your average pickle jar in the store or some of your ice cream containers can be used for these as well, because these are very stretchy and you can stretch them on. So to make them luminary, what I did is I bought some of these. See if I can bring this in where you can see. There we go. And what these are is they are little LED candles, and this one is cool because it changes colors. It goes from green to red to blue. It's really pretty. And what I do, find one didn't have one in it. There we go. And you can see it lights up, and they make great luminaries for your windows. And of course, these are in Halloween colors, and you can make them in any colors for Christmas, outdoor garden parties, porch parties, whatever you want to do. They're super easy to make. And this is a video I put out there yesterday. Now, these luminary candles, these little LED candles, 2 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. You go to the Dollar Tree, they have a whole bunch of them, and they're just hanging on these hanging things. And there's 2 in a package. The battery's already in it. I don't know how long the battery will last you, but it's worth it for $1, 2 for $1, right? And so that's the video we did yesterday. It was super fun to do, and they're super fun. I can't wait to get these in my window. I have 2 windows in my front living room, and I've got nice big windows with the deep ledges, and I'm going to put a bunch of these, and I think it's going to look really pretty. And then when Christmas comes, I'm going to change to some Christmas colors. I wish I could find some that would just blink like red, green. I bet they'll have them at Christmas. Red, green, white, or maybe yellow. I don't know. It'd be super fun. Anyway, that was a video that we did yesterday, and I'm super excited about it. And I got so many plans to make some more. All right, so we talked about the winner for the box of yarn, Vicki Shenfield. We talked about the doll and the poncho for the little girl, the hat, and the luminary jar cozies. And that's all I've got for you today. Boy, our time went by fast. Let me take a look at some of the comments, see if there's any question. Who makes camo chunky yarn? All right, the camo yarn that I got is from Michaels. It's called, I think it might be their Loops and Thread Chunky. And then you can also get Burnett Chunky. They have camo. And there was one other one. Oh my goodness, I have completely lost my... I was going to see if I had one over there, but I don't. Hometown USA. That's what it is. I think it's Lion Brand Hometown USA. Those 3 have chunky camo. What I did is I went online and I looked for, I just put in chunky camo, and I went through, and then I looked at the stores to see who carried it. Yeah, I told you I try to work hard, or harder, not smarter, not harder. All right, okay. Oh, she says I'm always so perky. Thank you. And I have to tell you a little secret about this morning. I am a morning girl. I like to be up at 5:30, 6 o'clock at the latest. I get up early with my husband, take my medicine, and sometimes I'll lay in bed and watch a little news, and then I'll get up. But I am a morning person. Today it was after almost 7 o'clock, and I had not woke up. And my dog Rosie, this girl has to go outside every day at a certain time. And I'm laying there, and I must have been in a deep dream, and all of a sudden she just pounced right on my chest, and I was like, ah! And then I looked at the clock, and I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta jump in the shower. So yeah, I'm not as perky as I usually am, I guess. I don't know what happened. I guess I just really needed some sleep. Karen says she made the tissue pouch. I love those tissue pouches. And I don't buy those little packs anymore. I just get regular Kleenex and I kind of fold them up and I stick it in there. And I did that because it seems like it's always in the middle of church or a movie or something, and I start sneezing. And then I have to pull the tissue out and it's all rattle, 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 you know, with the package, and upsets people. So I just put them in there without the package. That way I can just pull them out. And I love the tissue pouches because you can just toss them in the laundry if you accidentally sneeze on them. All right, let's see, any other questions? Let's see. Okay, I just noticed your white kitty with the pumpkin outfit in the background. Did you make that? White kitty. I don't see. Oh, are you talking about that right there? That is Snoopy. He came in a coffee mug I got from my granddaughter last year. She got me a coffee mug with Snoopy on the front, and then that's Snoopy in a pumpkin outfit. It's not a kitty, sorry. Alrighty, well, I think that looks like all the questions. And remember, you can always ask me a question. You can ask it here, you can ask it on YouTube, or you can go to my webpage, hit that contact button, and ask it there. And if it's something a little more personal that you don't want out there, don't feel bad. Just email me, like I said, on that contact, and I'll do my best to answer your question. And I like getting them, even if you think they're silly. It's okay. I like silly questions. I'm a silly person. Well, I want to thank you all for jumping in and being a part of my live video today. And I was thinking maybe I'll get a nap this afternoon, but I've got my granddaughter today, so no napping for me. Well, everybody have a wonderful week. And the question I'm going to ask you next week, so get prepared. Are you going to dress up for Halloween? And did you crochet something to wear? We'll see you next week. Have a great week.